All right, so let's have a conversation about this person coming onto my profile and making the comments that they made. For one thing, this person is 100% correct. There's no such thing as Puerto Rican hoodoo. And we're going to talk about where hoodoo comes from. There's two kinds of hoodoo that's practiced in the United States. One kind of hoodoo comes from the slaves that were brought over to the eastern parts of the United States. That's into North Carolina, South Carolina, up and down the east coast of America. Those Africans that were brought as slaves, their owners were Protestant Christians, not Catholic. That's what that means. So a lot of the hoodoo practices you're going to see are a lot of herbalism, a lot of root work. Hoodoo was African American slave magic. It was the magic that was used to protect the slaves and also to heal them. It's a healing art, a healing practice. And like all African diasporic traditions, it's based on ancestors. When someone practices hoodoo, they're calling on their ancestors. Now, the other kind of hoodoo that came into the United States came into Louisiana. It comes from Haiti, and it comes from Cuba. And those hoodoo, voodoo practices have a very, very strong Catholic influence, because obviously it was the French that first had control over that territory, and they brought the practitioners of voodoo, a lot of people in Haiti, over into the New Worlds. So it's creolized hoodoo. Marie Laveau was the voodoo hoodoo queen of New Orleans, and her teacher, Dr. John, was from Senegal. He was a slave that was brought to Cuba, and after he was freed in Cuba, he came to Louisiana, and he set up shop in New Orleans, and he taught Marie Laveau. Dr. John was Marie Laveau's teacher, and guess what he was initiated in? He was a palero. He was initiated into the mysteries of Palo Mayombe. It just so happens that I'm scratched in Palo Mayombe also. But I'm a Puerto Rican man, I'm a Hispanic man, and the practices that I practice specifically come off the island of Puerto Rico. Yes, there's voodoo, it's called sanse, espiritismo, that's spiritualism, creolized spiritism, Palo Mayombe and Santeria. Yeah, I'm into all that stuff. And a lot of these practices look very similar. And a lot of the spirits are called in very similar ways, because the origin of all this spirituality and my spirituality is African.